Your heart started racing. You told yourself it was nothing. But then your brain did what your brain always does. It pulled up the worst possible explanation. And now you're sitting there, heart pounding, completely convinced that something is seriously wrong with you. Your doctor says you're fine, the test came back clean, the numbers are normal, and none of that matters. Because your body is producing symptoms that feel completely, undeniably real. And here's the thing that nobody ever explains properly. Those symptoms are real. Your brain is not lying to you. Your body is not malfunctioning. Something is happening. It's just not what you think it is. And once you understand what it actually is, the fear begins to lose its grip. Today, I'm going to explain exactly what is happening in your body and your brain when health anxiety creates physical symptoms. Not in clinical language, in real language. And I'm going to give you a specific thing you can do the next time it happens. Not a breathing exercise, not a mantra. Something that works with the actual mechanism behind what you're feeling. Because if you've been living with this long enough, you already know the generic advice doesn't touch it. Let me describe what this actually costs you. You wake up in the morning, and before you've had a single thought, your hand is already on your chest, checking. Just checking. You cancel plans, not because you're sick, but because you don't know if you're going to feel okay enough to go. You've opened and closed the same symptom page 4 times today. Each time you feel a little worse after. Each time you open it again anyway. You've sent the, does this sound serious to you, message at midnight. To a partner, to a friend, to your mom. And they said you were fine. And for about 12 minutes, you believed them. Research shows that the average person with health anxiety spends between 1 and 4 hours every single day in this cycle. Checking, Googling, seeking, doubting. That's up to 30 hours a month. That's a part-time job. And the pay is pure suffering. But here's what I want you to hear before we go any further. You are not weak for this. You are not irrational. You are not broken. You have a nervous system that learned somewhere along the way that the world is not safe unless you keep watching. And it is doing exactly what it was designed to do. Here's the biology that nobody put in plain language for you. Deep in your brain, there's a structure called the amygdala. It doesn't speak in words. It speaks in threat signals. And its only job, is to keep you alive. When it detects something it is filed as potential danger, it fires a signal to your body that is ancient and chemical and fast. Adrenaline, cortisol, norepinephrine, a full physiological emergency response. Your heart rate increases, your chest tightens, your breathing shortens, your vision narrows, your blood pressure spikes. Every single one of those is a real physical event. The sensation in your chest is real. The racing heart is real. The dizziness is real. The question is not, is this real? The question is, what triggered it? For most people, the trigger is an external threat. A car swerving toward them. A dangerous animal. A genuine emergency. For someone with health anxiety, the trigger is a thought. A thought about a symptom. A thought about a disease. A thought about the thought you had yesterday. Your amygdala cannot tell the difference between a real threat and an imagined one. It responds the same way to a car swerving toward you as it does to the thought, what if this chest tightness is serious? And here's the cruel twist. The physical symptoms it produces, the racing heart, the tight chest, become the new evidence that something is wrong. You felt anxious. That anxiety caused a real physical sensation. That sensation triggered more anxiety, which caused more sensation. This is what's called the anxiety loop. And once you're in it, the only way it ends is when your nervous system runs out of fuel, which is why you're exhausted by 2 p.m., even though nothing physically happened to you. And this is the part that changes how you understand everything else. Sign 1, your body becomes a surveillance system. Once the anxiety loop activates, your brain doesn't go back to baseline. It goes into scanning mode. This is called hypervigilance, a state where your nervous system treats your own body as a threat environment. You start noticing sensations you never noticed before. A small flutter in your chest, a slight tightness in your throat, a twitch in your left arm. Those sensations were always there. Everyone has them. Your brain is now cataloging them as evidence. And the more you scan, the more you find. And the more you find, the more certain you become. Sign 2. Reassurance makes it worse, not better. This is the sign that quietly damages the relationships around you. You call someone, they say you're fine. The relief lasts. Research shows an average of 10 to 20 minutes. Then the doubt returns, stronger. Why? Because reassurance, in the short term, tells your brain, this was worth worrying about enough to seek help. It confirms the threat was real. And so the next time you feel the same sensation, the urge to seek reassurance is stronger. Because your brain has learned, this is how we manage this. Every time you reach for that reassurance, you're making the next wave of anxiety more likely. Not because you're weak. Because your brain is doing exactly what it was trained to do. Sign 3, the body starts shrinking your life. This is where the cost becomes visible to the people around you, even if they never say a word. You stop exercising, because what if your heart rate goes too high? You stop traveling, because what if you're far from a hospital? You decline the dinner, cancel the trip, skip the party. Not because you don't want to go, because the anxiety of managing your body in an unfamiliar place is more exhausting than the event is worth. And every time you avoid a trigger, your brain files a note. That place, that activity, that sensation, dangerous. Do not return. The world gets smaller, and you start building your entire life around the geography of imagined threats. And then there's sign 4. This is the one that most people never connect to health anxiety at all. Sign 4. You start managing life like a risk simulation. Somewhere along the way, something shifts. You stop living in the present. You start living in scenarios. What if this gets worse by Wednesday? What if I feel this way on the flight and there's no doctor? If the worst happens, what do I say to my family? This is called anticipatory anxiety. And your brain runs these simulations not to torture you, but to protect you. If it can predict the landing point of a disaster, it believes it can soften the impact. The problem is that the simulation never ends. There is always a new variable, a new worst case, a new scenario to run before you can feel safe. And so instead of living your life, you are managing it from a distance, through glass, watching it happen while you run the numbers in the background. So what do you actually do? Not the generic advice, the real answer. 3 things. Each one works with the mechanism, not against it. First, name the loop out loud in the moment. When the physical sensation arrives and the fear starts, say out loud if you can, in your head if you can't. This is the anxiety loop. My amygdala has fired. My body is responding to a thought. This is not a mantra. This is information. Your prefrontal cortex, the reasoning part of your brain, can interrupt the amygdala's signal when it receives accurate data. You are not calming down by pretending. You are calming down by explaining. There is a difference, and your nervous system feels it. Second, let the sensation be there without investigating it. The instinct, when you feel a physical sensation, is to check it. Press on it, monitor it, search it. Every time you do that, you send your amygdala a message. This was worth investigating, which means it was, in fact, a threat. The alternative, and this is genuinely difficult the first time, is to allow the sensation to exist without responding to it, not suppressing it, not ignoring it, simply not investigating it. My chest feels tight. That is happening. I'm not going to check it right now. The sensation will peak. And then, because anxiety is physiological, and physiology has a ceiling, it will begin to fall. Not because you forced it to, because you stopped fueling it. Third, log the urge, not the symptom. If you currently track your symptoms, heart rate, blood pressure, sensations, try shifting what you log. Instead of heart rate 94 at 2:47 p.m., try felt the urge to check my heart rate at 2:47 p.m., did not check. That shift does something important. It moves your attention from the symptom, which feeds the loop, to the behavior, which is where the actual pattern lives. Over time, you start to see that the urges come in waves. They peak around certain times of day, after certain triggers. That's not frightening. That's information you can actually use. Health anxiety does not mean your body is broken. It means your brain has become a very dedicated, very exhausting guard. It is watching everything. It is cataloging everything. It is running every simulation to keep you safe. And it is doing all of this because, somewhere, it learned that vigilance was the price of survival. You cannot fire that guard. You cannot turn it off. But you can retrain it. From a guard that treats every sensation as an intruder, into a watch that simply notes what passes through and lets it go. That's not a small thing. That is getting your life back. If this reached you today, if some part of what I said sounded less like a video and more like someone finally understanding what your days actually feel like, leave a comment. Tell me which sign hit hardest. Not for the algorithm, because that comment might be exactly what someone else needed to read today. Everything I walked you through today, naming the loop, sitting with the sensation, logging the urge instead of the symptom. These are the 3 core techniques built into Peaceport, not as information to remember. As a guided sequence you can open the moment the anxiety hits. 3 minutes, 1 tap, right when you need it. It's free to start. Link is in the description. Take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next one.